What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy Lucha Lucha, aka Matthew J. Brownlee, and I'm back with another spilling the NXT. This is not a top five, mostly because five things happened, but this was more of a storyline show heading into the Takeover match, Vengeance Day, which is on Sunday. So I decided that I'm just going to go through the show and we're going to talk about it. So, like, comment, subscribe, share, all that good stuff in the book. And we're just gonna get in. We're just gonna get into the show, which was a decent show. Like I said, they were just hyping up their show, their takeover, and that's really all this was. Uh, so we're gonna get into it. As soon as the show starts, they have MSK versus Legado, the semifinals. Yeah, semifinals, and this was good stuff. MSK. This is probably. This is MSK's third. This is their third match on NXT, and this was probably the best one. It's probably Legado's best one in a while too. Um, they just work well together. You know, MSK likes to do a lot of their um, high flying. They like to do innovative stuff that like they probably see on the indies rarely. Like they see it in TNA, but they don't really see it on NXT or WWE like that. Like when they did the assisted moonsault thing, where he did like his backflip and he pushed him onto him and he hit him. They did one of those, but they did it on the apron. Like he did his backflip off the apron, he pushed him off the apron and did it. That was awesome. Um, there's a lot of technical stuff that was going on with Raw, nope, Raheem Wild and Wesley. That was great stuff. Nick Carter was getting in there. I love that Nick Carter's name is because of it's from uh, the uh, the Jackie Chan and the Rush Hour movies. Uh, that's hilarious. Um, but yeah, this was a good match. There was a great spot where Raul Mendoza had Nick Carter in like a fireman's carry, and Nick Carter was on like the floor, or he had Wesley. I'm sorry, he had Wesley in a. Was it Wesley? No, yeah, he had Wesley in a fireman's carry. Nick Carter was on a floor, and Walking Wild did like he went on the top rope and then he jumped off of like Wesley, like in the fireman carry, like jumped on top of him and then hit a 450. But Nick Carter got his knees up, and then he went to go for a cover, and Raul Mendoza like threw Wesley on him to break it up. That was awesome. Um, but in the end, uh, MSK they win. They take out Mendoza, and then they do their assisted uh, spinebuster neckbreaker thingy for the win. That was great stuff. I enjoyed it. If I would grade it, I'd give it a B plus. It was fun. Next up, there was Mercedes video package. There was three of them. There was one from her, one from Tony, and one from Io Shirai. Mercedes Martinez said that she's been doing this for like 20 years to get to the NXT Championship. She said that Tony getting in her way, she's gonna take her out, and this is who she is. This is the real her, all that good stuff, and she's gonna be champion on Sunday. Next up, I call her Murder Lee because she's been murdering people. She's with Boa and Mei Ying. Uh, she's out to have a match. She turns around and the Casey sisters, Kaden and uh, Casey, they're out there. They was like, "What are you doing? This isn't you." All that good stuff. And Boa's trying to get him down, and then her opponent, whoever she was, is it on here? Laura Jade. She came. She attacked Xia Li. She no sold it, and then she just beat her up, hit her with her finish kick, and it was over. 1, 2, 3, over with. And then Casey's arguing with Boa. Kaden Carter gets off the ramp. She starts yelling at the lady, She's like, who are you? Why are you here? What is your deal? What did you do to her? This isn't her. Like, who are you? Like, literally, who are you right now? Like, why are you in this facility? Like, who do you think you are? And then Xylee gets up and then she throws Kaden Carter out. And then she was like, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry, I'm sorry. And then she beats up Casey Catanzaro. And then she sort of chokes Boa, but she uses her chin. She goes like this to Boa. Instead of going like this to Boa, she goes like this to Boa. And then he's like, and then like come back and he's holding his neck, but even though she grabbed his chin, but whatever. So yeah, that's fun. So it seems like this is their first feud. Well, her first real feud instead of just beating people up. They're gonna be feuding with the Casey sisters. It's gonna be interesting because I don't know really what they. I don't know. I mean, maybe Mei Ying's gonna wrestle. Maybe she's gonna actually wrestle, but who knows? We'll see. Because she's gonna wrestle and like she's gonna sweat and all that face paint is gonna come off her neck, whatever. But yeah, it's gonna be great. Regal is coming out. He's talking to Mackenzie, I think, and he's asking about how he feels about Takeover and the Dusty Classic. He says great. He said we're gonna have a great match. He's like congratulations to MSK to go to the finals. And now we're gonna see who he faces tonight. He goes in the ring or he goes in the office and then Scarlett's just sitting on his desk. He's like, "Can I help you?" He was like, "Yeah, I'm here because if Cross is here, it wouldn't have been a good situation. I want he wants Escobar next week on TV." He was like, yes, Escobar versus Cross. Deal. And then she touches him, and then she speaks like Romania or something like that. It's good stuff. Next up after that, The Way. They're hilarious. They're literally a bundle of joy. They come out. Johnny's in his left arm is in a his left arm is in a sling. He's in a wheelchair, and they're pushing him in the wheelchair, and he's picking him. What's his name? Austin Theory's like picking him up, sat him on top of the turnbuckle, put the thing in the chair, put the wheelchair in the ring. He goes to pick him up. He's trying to sit him down. He's like, he's yelling the whole time. He's like, "Give me a mic! Give me a mic!" And he gets him a mic. And this is just hilarious. He just pretty much talks about we're not gonna get a match because of what Kushida did. And he's like, face turned one way. He was like, show me. He was like, roll the footage. He's like, roll me to the camera. Show me the camera. Show me the video package, and they show what happened, like when he got beat up, like he kicked his left arm or whatever like that. And then you cut back to it when he tells him to turn around. He comes back to it, and Candice LeRae is like holding his face over so he couldn't see it. He's like, turn me back around. He was like, this is crazy. He's like, this is nonsense. This is like, you just robbed us of a great match. And then William Regal comes out. He was like, who? He's like, Johnny, enough of this nonsense. And Johnny goes, who is it? He's like, turn me back around. He's like, it's me. He's like, oh, Regal. He was like, you're fine. He was like, we had a X-ray. He was like, we had a thing on you. You got cleared by the doctors yesterday. He was like, no. What are you talking about? He was like, yes, you are. He's like, look, I got the footage. Right. He was like, I got the things right here, broken in 3 places. He's like, really? Like, dude, that R right there means right, and your sling is in your left hand. He's like, no, that means I'm right. Yeah, that means I'm right. And it says Johnny Gargano has my name on it. It's hilarious. Like the way that he did it too was like, he said that he kicked him so hard that he has a power walk, and it went to like shiver down his spine, and now he can't, and that's why he's in a wheelchair. It's something stupid like that. It's hilarious. It was like, so William Regal was like, well, you have either 2 options. You can either have him defend your title. You can have Austin Theory defend your title for you in honor of you tonight, And then Austin Theory was like, yeah, that's a great idea. Johnny Gargano was like, no, it's a stupid idea. I'm not doing that. He was like, or you can forfeit your title. He was like, nah, man, you don't let me forfeit. He's like, look, just give me a couple weeks, maybe some months. Let me rehabilitate, do the video package, like the montage package and stuff. He's like, we'll get it in there. He's like, and then like they cut back to him and William Regal, and then they cut back to them again, and then Kushida's just standing there, just standing there, like yeah. He was like, oh man, he's like, we're gonna think about it. He's like, what do you think about that, Kushida son? He's like, Kushida, he's not even here. And then Austin Theory just like looks. He's like, yeah. He look, and he was like, and he sees that he's there, and then he gets beat up, and him and Johnny Gargano is like doing tug of war, and he notices that his arm is like not in the sling anymore, like his arm is fine, and then he like kicks him, and then he like falls backwards into like the wheelchair. Hilarious! It's so great. And then Candice LeRae is out there. She's like she wants to go after him. Kushida's like this. He's like, I don't want none of that. And then Indy Hartwell is like holding her back. And then Ember and Chauncey comes out, and they start their match, which was again very good. This was fantastic. That segment was fantastic. Ember and Chauncey works really well, and I like the thing where because both Candice and Ember aren't doing anything. Ember, I don't think is going to be NXT champion again. She's already had the title. This is her time to obviously be here to elevate stars. I don't know if Candice will get the title at all. She should, but Raquel Gonzalez, man. Raquel Gonzalez, maybe Xia Li. Those are like the two top. Toni Storm, Mercedes Martinez. There's like just too many people right now before her. So I do like the fact that they are putting like Ember with Chauncey, who's like this crazy energy, high go for the gusto type wrestler, and you got her with someone like Ember who like matches her very well, like very very well. Same thing with Indy Hartwell. She's like powerhouse type thing, and they have Candice LeRae who's with her, and meshes them very very well. And I like the dynamic they both have with their opponents. And some of the tag team moves that Ember and Chauncey were doing were crisp. They were their own moves, but they made it into tag team moves that looked really crisp. It didn't look like something like some weird, I do my stuff and then you do your stuff, and then that's like a tag team. Like they really did like a lot of cool tag team type finisher or type moves with their own as their own moves. They were really good. As well did Indy and her and Candice. They did a thing where they did an assisted top rope. Indy had caught her on had her hand up on the top rope, and then she walked the tightrope, and then she did a head scissors on Chauncey into Ember, or Ember into Chauncey. They did one of those. That was cool. And then they did a moonsault suicide dive. There must have been something where there was a moonsault suicide dive. Oh, I remember. There was a there's a thing where I think somebody did. I think Candice did I remember what it was. Ember, Indy had Ember on the ropes, and Candice did a moonsault, a assisted moonsault on Indy, and then she hit a fantastic suicide dive on Chauncey like that, and then Indy pinned her for a 2 count. Okay, that's what it was. And then the Candice did a wicked stepsister, and then Indy did an assisted elbow drop combo for another 2. That was good. They did a lot of cool stuff too for them. I hope they keep them as a tag team, and Ember and Chauncey as well. In the end, though, Ember had hit an eclipse on Candice LeRae, and then Chauncey gets on the top. Indy tries to cover, help Candice, She hits it anyway. Indy was the legal person, not Candice. She hits the senton, pins her for the 3, and now it's going to be them versus Raquel and Dakota for the thing. As a whole segment, like the match itself, I give it like B plus, B plus. Like, but for like the whole segment, like that's like A minus A segment. That was fantastic. That was all good stuff. He said Toothless Timmy and Old Man Champa. That was hilarious. Um, and then they had another segment with Legato. Um, they were talking about, is he worried about Karrion Kross? Is like no. And then Joaquin Wild and the other one came out, and it was like, we're sorry for losing. Da 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 da. He was like, man, don't apologize. Apologies for the week. He's like, it's okay. He's like, if you want to make it up to me, you know what you got to do. Handle the business. And so he doesn't make it to next week. Uh, then after that, we had cool done in Finn Balor. They had a cool video package. It was good stuff. Uh, just hyping up their match for Takeover. They're probably going to show before their main event that they're going to do. They're going to probably do that. Then after that, we had Kushida versus Theory. This wasn't like really much of a match. Like, it was a match and it was a good match. But it was like, again, my favorite part was they come in, they're already in the ring for the match. And Johnny Gargano, even though he was caught with the sling, he still had the sling out at the apron. That was hilarious. This was a good match. Like the first part of the match before the commercial break, Kushida was in total control. Like everything Austin Theory was trying to do, Kushida was reversing it. He was working on his left arm as well. Like he was working on his when he worked on Johnny's arm when he kicked it. He was working on Austin Theory's like whole left side, like his whole left arm. He was like kicking it, stomping it, putting in like crazy weird pretzel submission moves. And then after the commercial break, Johnny tried to get involved. Kushida did his little point, like, hey, you away. And then Austin Theory like pushed him out the barricade. And then they switched to like commercial break. Comes back. Austin Theory's he's on in control. He's beating him up. He's hitting him with some cool moves and stuff like that. But of course, he gets the upper hand because he's the babyface, and Kushida's fantastic. They go on the outside. He does his like springboard thing. He hits him with he hit him and he has on in a hoverboard like on the outside of the apron. Johnny Gargano boom kicks him straight in the face, causes the DQ, and then they start beating him up. And of course, Johnny Gargano takes off his sling. It was like, oh, it's not injured. It's like, but they proved that you weren't injured early. Okay, it's okay. So they beat him up. He was like, I'm going to get a chair. So he goes up to get a chair. And then Austin Theory throws Kushida in the ring. He gets caught from the inside, like under the ring. He gets taken on in the ring. Johnny Gargano comes. He tries to pull him in. And then he like pulls him out or whatever. And he's like, yeah, I got you. He looks down and it's Dexter Loomis. He's like, ah! He goes in there. He like shimmies backwards. And then also he's like, I'm okay. I'm good. I'm good. And he turns around. He looks up. He's like, oh my god. He runs in the ring. He gets him in a hoverboard. And then Johnny Gargano comes to the rescue. He looks at him. He like tries to like shimmy around him. And he like attacks him or whatever like that. And then Kushida gets the best of him. He puts him in the hoverboard. Austin Theory tries to do something, but Dexter Loomis grabs him, puts him in the silencer. And then Kushida picks up the title. He looks at it. He looks at the title, picks it up. And then Dexter Loomis is looking at him while he's holding the title. So maybe he wants the title too. And he did that. It's like, yeah, champion. And then Johnny Gargano's like, Urgh. And then he puts it down. It's good stuff. Tony Storm video package. Tony Storm keeps saying that everybody keeps talking about Io Shirai when she beat her, but she never talks about when she beats her for the Mae Young Classic. Talks about she's gonna win, and that's gonna be that. Imperial video package. Imperium they talk about like their roles in Imperium. He says that one is, I think, the architect. One is like the general. He said Walter's the general. One's the architect. One is an adapter. I don't really remember. It was a good It was a good promo, but I don't remember. Then there was Karrion Kross. He kills Legado del Fantasma. They just beat it up. He was like, there's a saying to say, if you got to do stuff, if you want to get something done, you got to do it yourself. I got it done myself. See you next week. And then to the moon, Cameron Grimes. Cameron Grimes comes back. He's in like a Lamborghini. He comes in there. He's handing everybody out like $200-$300. You know how to drive this thing? No? Okay, me neither. Go get it done. He goes in the ring. He's like, everybody stand up and clap for me. I'll give you a nice reward. He's like, man, after that dirty, stinking, no good, dirty, rotten, pig stealing great grandfather of mine, Timothy Thatcher, since he beat me up and laid me side of that ring, man, I was in there. I was trying to rehabilitate. But you know what? I got into one of them things that everybody else got into. I got into some video games. And after the video games, I was done with the video games, and then I found this thing called GameStop. And then after GameStop, I started to invest my stock in some GameStop, and guess what? Now I'm rich. Let's just say it went to the moon. And then after that, I wanted to get a pet. I was never a kitty cat person. I was like my doggy dogs. And I got interested in this thing called Dogcoin. And now I'm rich. He said, I'm so rich, it's not even funny. It's hilarious. He said, now I get to do whatever I want. He said, Mr. Wriggle, you gonna put me in a match with Dexter Lumis? Kiss my grits. You wanna put me in there with zombies? Kiss my grits. To the moon. He throws his money up and he starts making money angels. It was great. I loved it. This was hilarious. Cameron Grimes is great. Eventually, he's going to lose all this money. That's going to happen. He's going to lose his money, but that was fantastic. Let's see. And then we had an EO package. She did her thing. She was Savage EO, speaking Japanese. She said that Mercedes Martinez has been waiting 20 years to get this championship. She said she's gonna keep waiting because as long as she's champ, she's never gonna do it. She's never gonna fulfill her dream. That was great. And she said, "Look, Toni Storm, what you did that was 3 years ago. Like, we're over. I'm a different person now. I'm champion. You're not. You're just another challenger to me." Ew, goofy. And then they did a thing where all of them are together. And then main event: Grizzled Young Veterans versus Thatcher and Ciampa. Grizzled Young Veterans, of course, talks trash. Talk about, hey, you're not a real team. What happened to your tag team partner, Thatcher? Huh? How'd that turn out for you? Same thing with you, Thatcher. Huh? How'd that turn out? And then they get beat up bad. They just like throw them on barricades and stuff like that. And then we start the match. Thatcher and the other one, number one, James Drake. They're in it. They're scrapping. They're doing like technical stuff. And then he does the thing where he Irish whips him, and then he has James Drake in on the other side, and take the blow for him. This was pretty much like a one-sided match, mostly because Grizzled Young Veterans are like a tag team. I think they said they've been a tag team for like 15, 20 years or something like that. So they did a lot of their tag team finishers. They did a lot of the tag team stuff, and even though Ciampa and Thatcher were both former tag team champions, that I actually forgot that Thatcher was a tag team champion, sort of, with Matt Riddle. Wasn't enough. Grizzled Young Veterans, man, they get it. There was like at least 3 hot tags, I think, between Thatcher and Ciampa. They had like 3 hot tags in there. Grizzled Young Veterans win. They do a thing where I think they throw Thatcher out I think he suicide dives him and then throws him out. And then they do a thing where Thatcher goes for the Widow's Bell, but James Drake Liverpool's number one catches, like, holds him, and then they hit the Ticket to Mayhem, and then they win clean as a whistle. They win. That was a good match. I'd give it like a B plus or A minus. It was good. And then after that, they had this thing where they did take out Ciampa early, assisted dropkick Doomsday. Oh, they did like a Doomsday. They tried to do it once, but they didn't do it. They didn't do it the first time, but they ended up doing it the second time. Then they hit the suicide dive, and then I got the suicide dive. I remember that. Then they did like takeover hype, where they had everybody out in when they had the Wade, Vic, and Beth Phoenix. They had them out like, and they talked about like each match, and like during each match, like the competitors were like jaw jacking each other. So they did the men's Dusty Rhodes Classic, and they had like a ref, and they were jaw jacking each other. And then they did the women's triple threat one, and they was all jaw jacking each other. I think Mercedes tried to touch the title, and she was like, "Nah, don't touch my title." They did the one with KUSHIDA and Johnny Gargano. They were jaw jacking each other. KUSHIDA was doing that. They did the one for the women's title, tag titles. They did that, and then for the main event, they did Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. They just looked, they stared at, they walked in the ring because it was like dim, and they walked into the light. Pete Dunne did his thing, and then Finn Balor did his your next thing, and your guns, and that ended the show. I don't think they needed this at all. They could have just, gave a little bit towards the. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was fine for what it was. It was the hype show. It was the go home show. But the only problem with it was like they literally already did all this before. Like with MSK and they could have did this with like MSK and what's his face, Thatcher. But they already had the video promo hype. They already had the like when Shansi and Ember won. They already had them two like come out and jaw jacket, so there was no need for them to do it again. They already had their end thing with Kushida and Johnny Gargano. They already did that when he beat him up and he had the title in the air. They with the thing with the triple threat, they had all three promos, and they had Io at the last one, and they were all staring at each other with her hand in the title. So they literally already did this. Only one they didn't do was Pete Dunne and Finn Balor. But again, like I said, they already had the video package, so they didn't really need it. If they wanted to use that last final time, they could have just did like maybe a brawl that had the two out there and something like that. I don't know, but it is what it was. They tried something new, and they did the thing. But yeah, that was the show. Overall, I give it probably a B plus. That probably is a fair grade for a show that just focused on the classic tag team wrestling. They focused on Dusty Classic, and they built their hype to go into the main event or to Vengeance Day Takeover. So it was good stuff. That was the show. B plus. What did you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. See you next time. I'm out.